Hey, good morning. The other day, our last podcast episode that we did was called Developing a Routine for Kids to help kids focus, okay? And I had a couple of requests. Could I specifically spend more time talking about developing a routine? And I think that it's a really good idea. We spent less time on routine and more about the sort of micro routine of getting kids to focus. So I thought that would be a good idea. So first of all, I think routine for me years ago was kind of a dirty word, like I don't want to be hemmed in by a routine. What I discovered over the years was, first of all, that kids love routine, and that I actually have more room for flexibility and more room for spontaneity when I actually have a routine, right? Because I accomplish more, I stay on top of what needs to be done, and as I sort of furthered along in my life, I realized that routine, developing good habits, is really the practice of virtue, right? When we are disciplined and we develop good habits, that's just one very small foundation for growing in virtue. And so, we shouldn't sort of toss away the idea of routine because we think it sounds, boring. So, what I know is that even if you feel like you don't have much of a routine, you actually have a lot of routine in place already, probably, right? So your routine would include things like getting up in the morning. Okay, that's a routine. For most of us, if we're working or we're going to school or we have children or whatever, we've already got some kind of routine in place. We get up in the morning, we wash our face, brush our teeth, maybe we do our hair or makeup or get dressed or whatever we do. We have a little routine in place, but it's so much ingrained as a habit that we don't really think of it as routine. But the rest of the day might be just a lesson in anarchy. So really, the development of routine really starts with the individual, right? We can't really expect our kids to have a really strong sense of routine if we don't have a sense of routine ourselves, right? So it's hard to impart something that you don't have. That said, you can do these things concurrently. You can concurrently build and learn your own routine as you develop routine in your family life, right? Especially when we take baby steps to do that, right? It's really important to be gentle with yourself, okay? So one of the best ways that you can develop routine is to attach things to other things, okay? So you already get up in the morning, okay? What can I attach? What's one small thing I want to add into my life that I can attach to getting up in the morning, getting dressed, that I might not already be doing? Maybe I make a morning offering myself, or maybe I take a few moments to read for 5 minutes to myself, or throw a load of laundry in that maybe I'm not doing that already. So I can develop one thing, add one thing to my daily routine. So take baby steps with yourself and with your family. Add one thing in at a time until it becomes easy, right? I'm just going to give a couple of examples that I think are worth exploring. The first one is, if your kids have been in school and you are bringing them home for the first time, your life has completely changed, okay? But so has theirs, okay? They're used to getting up in the morning, going to school, and there's a routine at school. And so if we can gently sort of approach them and say, okay, well, things are going to look different now. We're homeschooling now. You can even bring them into the conversation if they're a little bit older, right? How would you like to see the day go, right? It's important to bring kids into the decision making, I think, in many cases. What I'd like to do is sit down and have breakfast together as a family, and maybe your part of the routine on that is that you get breakfast out the night before, get the things you need out, so you wake up in the morning and it all looks ready to go. Let's have breakfast together, and then I'll read you a story, and then we do our sit-down work. I'll start with you, and then you. Maybe you go alphabetically, maybe you go in age order. That's up to you. And then you guys have some time to play before lunch. How does that sound? Or get their input and take it into consideration. I think our kids have valuable ideas, and they will feel respected and more inclined to do the things that you're asking of them if they've been a part of the decision making. If you're already homeschooling and you're having a new baby, or your kids are really small and you'd like to start moving towards developing a kind of a school routine, this is a very simple thing to do, right? So for example, you start with breakfast. Okay, after breakfast, why don't we sit and color for a little while and sit down and color with them, okay, for 10 minutes, or play Play-Doh with them, something that they enjoy doing, to establish the routine of after breakfast, or after lunch, whenever you decide homeschooling is best for you. What are we going to do together, and sit down and do that thing together for 10 or 15 minutes? And it can just be play. It doesn't have to look like school yet if your kids are very small, right? And you can talk about how the Play-Doh feels, and you can talk about how the how the coloring is, or what kind of picture they might like to color today. Be ready for that, but make that part of your routine. I'm going to print off some coloring pictures, or I'm going to have some fresh Play-Doh ready to go for the kids, this week, or this tomorrow morning. So those are some ways that we can develop routine. I also think it's really important to write it out for your kids, either on like a sort of a daily or weekly checklist, or a whiteboard, whatever works for your family. If your kids don't read yet, if they're small, make symbols, that we're going to have breakfast, draw a cereal bowl and a spoon, and then after breakfast we're going to color, we're going to play Play-Doh, or we're going to, sit down and make some letters together, write it out in symbols if they don't read yet. And, the sort of the large parts in their day, and you could include bedtime in that, you draw a bed and draw them going to sleep. So the two takeaways I'd really like you guys to understand from this video, I think the when we develop routine, is one, to attach things to other things. Okay, when you're trying to develop routine, take what you already have, add one thing to it at a time, one small thing. That's the other takeaway. Add one small thing at a time, and keep at that one small thing until it's easy, right? Once it becomes easy, then add something else, right? It takes less time than you would think, right, to develop a habit. And remember that a habit is just the development of virtue, the development of discipline. So that's all I have to say for today, and I'll pop this up on YouTube as well. So God bless and have a great day.